Span. Stan Meek. Here. Dr. Outlaw. Here. Diane Sullivan here. Kevin McCollum. Here. Lisa Cavaluna. Here. Bob Eismeyer. Here. Mary Ann Dwyer. Here. John Chartier. Here. And Debbie Graves. Here.
Thank you.
And no high school rep.
Doesn't appear so. Okay, everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, this evening we have a school showcase, Brandon High School. Mr. Stevens.
Welcome everybody. My name is Dan Stevens. I'm the principal at the high school, and this is our month for the showcase for the Board of Education to highlight something that's going on amazing in our school. And when I thought about this, there's just so many great things, as you guys all know, that's going on in our school. So I thought about this and decided to ask Mrs. Kelsey, one of our English teachers at the high school, to present something she calls Genius Hour. Genius Hour incorporates not only her classes, but it really incorporates the whole school, the community, our fellow teachers, and everybody. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. I want to give our kids and Mrs. Kelsey the time to explain to you guys what this Genius Hour project is all about. So I'm going to turn it right over to Mrs. Kelsey.
Do I need to turn this on, or can you hear me okay? Hear me okay? Okay, good.
Your teacher.
All right, I know I can belt it, but I'll probably blast everybody off their seats when I use that as well. Again, I'm Mrs. Kelsey. I teach English at the high school, and I've been doing Genius Hour for about the last this is the fourth year I think I've been doing, fourth or fifth. And essentially what Genius Hour is, it evolved from Google. They had a program, they called it 20% Time, where they found their workers were working on pet projects. And they thought, that's cool, we should give our workers, 20% of their work week to work on some cool pet project, like something they're passionate about, ties to their work sort of, but it's giving them that license, that creativity, that choice. And so a lot of educators have started doing Genius Hour or 20% Time passion projects. It goes by many names. But we call it Genius Hour, that's how that sounds. I think it sounds like a nice name. And there are 5 essential components when I do Genius Hour with my students. They have to be passionate about it. There has to be some composition involved. Then you do some research. And it has to reach beyond the classroom. This isn't just a poster they put up on room 237 and no one else learns about it. And there's a presentation piece. So what else? I like this project, and I think my students enjoy it as well in the community because they get choice. When they're invested in what they're figuring out, and they ask me, can I do it on this one thing? I really like it, but it's not very Englishy. I'm like, yes. They're excited to get that choice because they're invested in it after that. What it looks like in pretty much any day when we have a full week, I try to give them an hour. When AP tests are looming, I don't give them as much time because the AP test is coming up, and that's the #1 priority for the AP composition class. But on any given day when they're working on Genius Hour projects, it can look like anything. They might be checking out books on the computers, calling businesses, going to another classroom, going outside and getting rates and measuring things, filming videos. It looks chaotic, and it is a little bit, but they have something they're working on for their project. So it's really neat. It's pretty cool. Here are just a few pictures of previous projects, presentations that they do. The upper left, some of it, I think this was last year, Lauren Donilon, she organized a basically showcase marching band, like what it is, and she went to the intermediate school, and she she arranged it, talked to Mr. Pagel, all these other people, and took, want to go sit down first? This is my son, Michael. He wants to help him. Go sit down, Mama, right there, okay? I apologize. But anyway, they went to the intermediate school and did a presentation to present, here's what marching band's all about, and kids were they had flag people, like, it was just really cool. And then I have other pictures just showing the scope of this. We take over the library for one day, and parents come. I invite all the teachers from their classes, so entire classes will come down. It's like a science fair, show and tell, just a chance for them to share their projects. But enough of me telling you how my angle. I have 2 students, 2 juniors that's here with me, and they want to tell you a little bit about their experience with Genius Hour and what they're working on with right now. All right, go ahead, ladies.
Alright, hello. We're members of the 2018 graduating class. We're juniors this year. We were members of Mrs. Kelsey's AP composition class. We actually participated in her Genius Hour project 2 years ago, so that was our freshman year, 9th grade. We participated in Genius Hour then. We did separate projects. I worked on international foods.
I did a project on like different dog breeds and
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a very diverse project, and it allows a wide scope of interest for students. It's really fun to be able to express yourself through a project, and it was nice being able to come back to Mrs. Kelsey's class. She has a really unique teaching style, as you can see in this project. She's very open to the way she allows students to express themselves. So it was really cool to come back to this class. And this year, our project is, we're going to call it the Courtyard Crew, and we're going out to the courtyard, and it's kind of fallen apart at the Brandon High School, which is unfortunate because it's a really big area in the middle of our school, and it'd be really nice if we could kind of clean it up and make it more useful for the teachers to use, and also for the students to go out there maybe during lunch, for their learning experiences, and just basic outdoor, because we're locked inside school all day. It's kind of nice to see the sun once in a while. So that's what we've been working on recently. Today was actually our first day outside starting to pull weeds. Unfortunately, with the winter, it's hard to go out there and actually do much, but this was our first time out there actually, putting our hands into the dirt and working on it. And we plan on going out there after school in the next few weeks and really getting some work done, getting tools out, and de-weeding, raking. Those are some of our biggest goals. Can you think of any others?
No, we wanted to maybe pull in some help from like the library or the art classes and have them maybe make some like cute wind chimes or something that like little kids could get involved with. But that might have to happen over the summer. We're not sure on our timeline.
Definitely, too. That's another thing we're working on. We have a greenhouse out in the courtyard, which has also had some problems in the past with maintaining upkeep. We've had, broken window panes and just root systems coming up, and we've had the entire heating system appears to be melted. So
It's a big project.
It's going to take a while for sure if we really want to get the full scope done. I think right now our main focus is starting with just basic maintenance. Like I said, we want to do some de-weeding. We want to go out there and plant some plants. That's like our biggest goals right now. And anyone's welcome to come out during June 7th.
Yeah, June 7th, presentations are the date, and this is your formal invitation. I can send out invitations to the principal. And the community is welcome to come as well. Just sign at the main office. You can't just stroll up to the library on the second floor. But June 7th, it's a Wednesday. Pretty much every hour but second. So if you have any more questions, you can contact Mr. Stevens, you'd be able to contact, or myself, Kristen Kelsey. Any questions?
So what's going to happen after school's out in 3 weeks? You kind of got your work.
Oh, with their project or with?
Yeah, with their project.
Well, we were actually planning on maybe making it an NHS event, so that like every week or every 2 weeks, some volunteers from NHS could come in with like probably Ms. Kelsey supervising and like just help de-weed and water and keep it.
And allow them to get some of their hours for doing that.
Yeah.
Good thing. Good job.
Any other questions?
Why'd you guys decide to pick that project?
We were actually strolling through the courtyard last fall, and we were all still kind of trying to think of our Genius Hour ideas. And I think someone was like, "Hey, why don't we just clean this place up?" And then here we are, though, 6 months later.
Did I get your name?
I'm sorry, I'm Lily Taylor.
I'm Audrey Lynn.
Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Great job. Appreciate it.
Are you staying? Lily's my daughter, by the way.
I'm from somewhere.
Okay, next, looks like we don't have our student representative today from the high school, so we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Jan?
Mrs. Edmondson, if you could come forward.
Suzanne.
So one of the areas in school where you make great connections with students. A lot of times we think about our classrooms, our teachers, they're our heroes. They get many accolades, and love our teachers. But we have so many people on the support side that do so many things that are great for kids, from our parapros to our bus drivers. But our food service people, they are people that connect with our kids every single day. They make a big difference. And we've been blessed in this district to have Suzanne Evanson as the director of our program. We've worked on our program for quite some time. She has been, we've received a letter, she has been being recognized by the state of Michigan for her outstanding service, for 25 plus years of service to this community. She has been an invaluable asset to our community and made such a difference for the children of this community. So we want to thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you. I'll just say a few little things. After all these years, trying to keep up with the regulations that keep changing and what we can feed the students, it's been difficult. And after trying to select what foods, healthy foods, our children will eat and to get them to eat it. And also the most difficult part is, yes, I have been through 5 superintendents. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I love it, and thank you for the recognition. I appreciate it.
One thing we can certainly say, with all the changes that you've gone through, and every year having to go through a different set of hoops to jump through, for us it's really easy because you have it nailed with you and your staff every year. It's one of those things that never comes up to us to be a problem or issue. You've got the problem solved, you've got the task identified, and you and your staff just take care of it. So that's very comforting for us to know that, you as far as your department, you handle things, you run things, and you do a great job. So we're very happy to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay. On our agenda business, we're going to add item F, which is preschool teacher staff reduction, to our agenda item tonight. And then we're going to pick up where we left off with our citizen participation. Do we know if anyone else signed up? Okay. But Bob Fluck.
Thank you. I guess I'd like to start by suggesting that Suzanne take over the pool. That's what I said. My name is Bob Fluck. I've been a Brandon resident and taxpayer for 28 years, and we had children go through this complete system for a total of 18 years, and that was more than one child. So we have, there's been a lot of talk about the pool, and that is also what I would like to address. Other districts around us, Clarkston, Oxford, West Bloomfield, are using Aqua Club. Aqua Club runs their facility. We already heard from a previous speaker about some of those terms. They have very different contracts in those outfits. And we can't assume that what works for them will work for us, and certainly the contract is so different that we can't make any assumptions at all. In fact, Avondale has turned down the services of Aqua Club. Many people didn't know that. We didn't know that until we started digging into it. And the reason we heard was exactly what we fear, that they were concerned they were paying too much and getting too little. And that's exactly, I think, sums up many of the citizens' concerns that we've talked with. To move on to a slightly different area, there's many times it's been said that the pool is mainly for the students. It is a community pool, but it is attached to the school. And we agree that students should be the primary ones, and there's a consideration that bringing in an outside source will increase student use, but at a cost to those students and families. And we are already paying for this pool, and they're not using it extensively during the day. In fact, I've been surprised to find out how little there is use of this pool for phys ed, science, safety concerns, things like that. And that could start early. I don't know if I want to take a bunch of kindergartners in there personally, but you could certainly run a gamut of things through there. And I think we need to look at that. I don't see that happening in this contract. There's concerns about the flexibility or lack of flexibility in the contract. This was brought up at a previous meeting. If things change, the contract is what it is, and the community can't really respond and get things changed and revised if we need to. We're very concerned about that.
One more minute, Bob.
So another issue that's been brought up is they're getting qualified people to run the pool. I would urge the board, if they haven't, to look at the posting that's online. It was put up May 3rd. It seems to be looking for the perfect candidate with an almost impossible resume. It would be very difficult to find someone who could fill that request. What we do have is people in the pool, in the pool working today, that have the basic qualifications to run a pool, and are willing, in our conversations with them, to sign up for an interim manager position while the board and the administration finds a long-term solution. And I have a letter that I will hand out at the end of my speech that indicates that person's willingness to do that, along with her husband, who, and between them, they can train lifeguards, and it only takes a couple of days to do that, and there are obviously people who can do that. Today, you're looking at a budget. There is not a great alternative. There was a citizen-generated thing, as you can tell from Larry's conversation. There was a lot of frustration with the numbers and what we had to work with. It is not a final proposal that you could vote on. We understand that. It couldn't possibly be with that time, but it is a place to start. Finally, based on the inputs that you've gotten, the numerous letters, previous meetings, representation here today, I ask that the board, based on their due diligence, vote no on this, and go back to seeing if we can run this in-house without paying somebody outside of our environment to do this. We pay for the facility, they make the money. Doesn't seem right. We can do better.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Rose, is it Swed?
Rose Sweet. Yeah.
Swede?
Rose Sweet.
Thank you.
I would just like, my name is Rose Sweet, and I'm relatively new to the pool, and I love it. I love the hours, I love the costs, I love everything about it. I just have the feeling that you're not listening to us. We're the ones who are here. We've worked over weekends, and we really need you to listen to our decisions. I'm worried that I haven't heard any, I've only heard yes votes. I haven't heard anything negative or any other additional comments. I'm self-employed. When I stand before a board and I present my proposals, there's usually 3 to 5 other companies. How come there are no other companies who have bid on this project? Why is there just one company? The other thing I would really like to hammer home is please reduce the contract from 2 years to 1 year. What if this doesn't work out? And there is a great possibility it won't. There's a city downriver that had a similar contract. Everything went to hell in a handbasket, and the city ended up kicking out the company, and it is now managed as this group would like to manage it. I think more research needs to be done, and I'd like to see this either tabled or please give us more time so that we can come up with a more viable plan. We're the people that you're not listening to. Please listen to us, and thank you very much.
Jennifer Marino?
Jennifer Menino, sorry, when I wrote that, I was in a hurry. I'm probably the only person here tonight not talking about the pool. Sorry, everybody, but I think you're well represented. I'm not sure if this is a board decision to vote on the STEAM education options that are proposed for the elementary schools or the lower ed Yeah, I think it's just the elementary schools. For Project Lead the Way. But I just want to speak anyway because I think there are some people here that do make those decisions. So I am for the STEAM education to be taught in a special lab and not in the classrooms because I think it's more marketable for our district to have another special. I was an advocate for another special like art, music, gym. I actually was an advocate for a foreign language, but I understand the research behind that. I don't work very well at an elementary level. So when I heard that we were going to be moving the STEAM education, which is like a STEM program, to the elementary level, I thought, oh great, another special. This is really good for our district. It's very, it's a selling point, I think, to other people who are deciding on what district to put their children in. I think it's great to get the kids out of the classroom for another special. I think it gives teachers a little bit more time to do what the work that they need to do. I also think that having it in a lab makes it a little bit more exciting for the children rather than having the same instructor that they're sitting with throughout the day teaching them. I think some kids get bored with that, and because this is STEAM education, which I assume people believe is very important, I think that having it taught in a lab in front of a specialized instructor makes it more exciting for the kids. They get to be out of the classroom into a lab and just having, they have a different type of attention in there. Also, I believe we have a person already trained in the STEAM education who has a 5-year contract or something like that. I don't really know the details of that, but someone is already trained in this. And every time we need to update something, we would have to train all of the teachers if this was taught in the classroom. And I think if we already have a specialized person trained in this, why not just use that person? I understand also that a lot of the reasons for the other option, which is teaching the STEAM in the classroom with the classroom teacher, is that that teacher can integrate the STEAM curriculum into their other curriculum. But I also understand that the curriculum is departmentalized at the upper elementary grades because the kids switch for science, math, and believe ELA. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work now that the changes are coming. But I think that, again, having it in a lab is better. I think it has a bigger impact. Like I said before, it's a selling point when you say that we have another special in our district for our kids. So I just don't want that to get overlooked. I know that summer's coming. I know the pool is a hot topic right now. I totally get that. But I just want to make sure that attention is brought to this before the plans for the curriculum for fall are set in place. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. You're aware that we approved...
Did you already make a decision?
When we approved the program.
Right.
Okay?
Yes, I am very excited about that.
Okay, so, but you're talking about the methodology.
I am talking about two options that were presented.
Yeah.
One being having STEAM taught in a lab by one person. And I also do understand that when it was presented as taught by the specialized, when it was presented to teach it in the classroom, the specialized person would teach it for the first half of the year for the lessons. And then the teacher would then learn from that person. But I still think it has a bigger impact because it's such an important part. We're promoting this as improving our curriculum. I think it has a bigger bang for the buck when we have it taught in a lab setting and not overwhelming the teachers or having it just mixed in, peppered into the curriculum in the classroom. I think it will stand out more and it's better for our children in the long run and the district.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Rebecca Haynes.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Haynes, and I'm here to talk about the pool. 10 years ago, we moved here, and we have 4 kids, and we got our children involved in the swim programs, which I was very excited to find that we even had a pool. We actually found out about it through just people telling us. We didn't really see any advertisement for it. So since then, our children were able to go to swim classes, and then slowly they kind of dwindled off and weren't available, or they would close them before they were full, which I didn't understand. And one of our children in particular really did great in the swim club, and there was 1 year that we had swim club, and they actually had competitive, what word is leaving me right now? Tournaments or whatever it's called for swim, I can't remember. And meets, yes, meets, thank you. And he did awesome, and we were so excited about it, and then it never happened again, and we were so disappointed. And I just feel like, I'm talking as a parent here, and there's lots of parents that I've talked to over the past year who feel the same way about swim. And I know that there's not a lot of parents represented here because they're literally chasing kids. I had 2 moms leave soccer to come here. So we would love a program like the Aqua Club to come in and be something that provides opportunities for our children in swim, competitive swim, and swim lessons. Having 3 different ages of swim lessons for a district this big with a pool that is as nice as ours is just greatly underused and underrepresented. And I just feel like it would be such a nice opportunity to build our own swimmers for our schools, because they go from that and they can do in the off season, they can swim, they can learn to swim. So I just feel like this program would be a great opportunity for our children in our district, which is a large part of this community.
Thank you. Jeff Cooper?
I want to thank the board for the opportunity to speak. My wife and I have lived in this community for over 20 years. We have 3 children in the district, a sophomore and 2 8th graders. My wife and I are both education majors, and my wife is currently a public school teacher. We've always strongly supported the Brandon Public Schools and the community. A little background on me: I've been involved in aquatics for 30 years as a coach and an administrator, in my entire life as an athlete and a coach. Currently, I'm the head coach and CEO of the Oakland Live Wires based out of Oakland University, and a board member of the National Club Swimming Association, who operates competitive swimming events nationally. Both organizations are 501c3 nonprofit. Through my experiences in these roles, I've negotiated and been on both sides of hundreds of these types of agreements and contractual relationships. Locally with Rochester Schools, Avondale Schools, Oakland University, nationally with Indiana University, Purdue University of Indianapolis, and the Orlando YMCA. When looking over the agreement in question, I see many things that I've seen common within these agreements, but I also see things particular to this specific agreement that I've never seen before. Common themes are the owner, Brandon Schools, cover operational costs for a facility. It's also common to see an owner, Brandon Schools, seeking a service provider to help with programming and recreational needs that a community needs. Things that are alarming to me as a taxpayer and a community resident and someone who's been involved in these types of agreements is the fact that district is willing to give control of the facility to a private, for-profit entity and not recover any of the revenues generated from the programming in its own facility. Beyond that, the district is actually subsidizing the for-profit entity to run programming, which I've never seen before in any of my experiences with contracts. As the contract is currently proposed, Aqua could run at the minimum threshold, 100 members, at the minimum proposed rate of $65 a month, and generate $78,000 annually, which Brandon Schools in the community would receive 0. Not only that, the district is paying Aqua $40,000 to make that $78,000. Aqua gets $118,000, Brandon Schools and community, 0. This I have never seen in any contract or agreement I've been affiliated with. This is burning the candle at both ends, and the community and taxpayers receive what? The taxpayers are already paying for the facility, and now through their member fees are lining the pockets for a for-profit entity. Within the contract, there is a provision for Brandon to receive dollars from Aqua, but not until Aqua has generated a minimum of 175 members at the low threshold rate of $65 a month. That's $151,000. How many teachers' salaries does that equate to? I ask you as a community resident and someone who is experienced in these matters to vote no on this agreement. You have a beautiful aquatic and fitness center. Don't be pressured into making a bad decision because you feel you have to right now because of time constraints. Do your due diligence. This agreement would be a bad deal for the Brandon community.
Judy Ulrich. Is there anyone else?
Okay, hi, I'm Judy. I have a husband who graduated from Brandon. Yes. I have three adult children who also, their entire career, went to Brandon. We have 2 young ones now that will finish with Brandon. We have used the pool facilities many times for lessons in the past. I would just like to say that from what I understand about all this that's happening, I think that I support the, what is it, A or whatever, the what is all against tonight. I think we have to do something, and I feel like it needs to be, we can at least try it. You know, if it doesn't happen to work out, then we can go back to the board and, you know, drawing board and start over. But, pardon me? Anyway, that's about all I have to say. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, David Steffies.
I'm a voting taxpayer of this community. I am not a swimmer. I went to workout facilities for a while, but it's so old and antiquated, I went somewhere else. I've been a small business owner for over 25 years. This contract is the most one-sided contract I have ever seen. I've negotiated over thousands of contracts and never in my life seen anything like this. An example might be this. You're a small business owner. You have storefronts in several locations. You want to open one up in Brandon Township. You see a storefront you like. You go to the owner and say, I want your storefront. I want you to pay all the utilities. I want you to pay all the upkeep. I want you to take care of everything. And on top of that, I want you to pay me $40,000 a year so I can run my business. And then on top of that, I want you to pay me $2,000 a month so I can hire help. This contract is wrong. It needs to be renegotiated. It should have been put out on a competitive bid. The board has a philosophy statement. Act as a truly representative body for the citizens in all matters related to programs and operations. This contract does not do that. I understand your worries about budgets. I understand your worries about monies. This contract does not solve that, and it does not take care of the needs of the school, the children, or the community. Thank you.
Renee Shute.
She left.
Okay. Leanne Schmidt.
Thank you very much for listening to everyone who has spoken tonight.
I had not intended to speak because there was so much good information other people were saying, but I just have to bring a few things to your attention based on the things that I heard during the work meeting. I understand that the situation with the pool is frustrating. It has been for a long time. I remember being on the board when we were looking at some of the loss numbers and trying to figure out how this could work for the betterment of the community, every single individual in the community. But the fact is that this contract does not solve those problems. All of those frustrations aside, giving all pool operations and total access to the facility to Aqua Club, a private firm, does not resolve the failing infrastructure issues that will still be on the district. It does not alleviate the maintenance costs. Those will reside with the district. It does not excise the pool headaches from the district either. But it does take all of the revenue streams away from the district that are represented by the pool. And as best I could figure out from looking at the financials, month after month for this current year, it appears that there is about between $5,000 and $8,000 of income per month. There were 2 months when it was extremely low. I don't have an explanation for that. But with numbers like that, you're giving that all away. And I don't see that as a responsible choice. In prior comments, I also heard the sentiment that Brandon's children are not being well represented by the aquatic facility. Let's be clear. Class enrollments have dwindled since the former pool director moved from Red Cross certified classes to a more casual curriculum. Parents weren't interested in that. I personally was not interested in that for my own children. Furthermore, the facility does not offer classes to children because the newly selected community education director forbid the advertising of new classes. Assuming that the handing over the pool to someone else is easier and offers lots of flashy promises without demonstrable successes because Aqua Club is too new. If you don't accept money for enrollments or memberships, because I did go on the school website and try to sign up for a membership recently, you can't do it. So if you're not accepting that money, then you really can't be critical for a loss of revenue. And regarding the loss of our aquatic center director, since when did any staff change cause an entire facility to be shut down? There is no other person who can do the job, really? I think there was general agreement from the people sitting here, and it sounded like from the board as well, as if that job might have been handled considerably better over the last few years. So it's not like we're talking about a star leaving and having difficult shoes to fill. I have seen the posting, which was egregiously stilted to eliminate perfectly reasonable and qualified candidates, some of whom are already district employees. I urge all of the board members to take a look at that posting. It is, in my mind, absurdly written and insulting as a taxpayer to think that that's happening. Regarding the statistics that you've seen about 30 in-district memberships and 12 out-of-district memberships as only current usage of the pool, that does not reflect the vast number of pay-as-you-go people whose schedules do not permit regular, daily, exact certain time attendance. I happen to be one of them. I love to use the Brandon pool when I have a chance, but as a teacher elsewhere, I'm gone from my house from 6 in the morning until sometimes 6 or 7 at night. And so my only available times are during school breaks in the summer. during those times, I'm paying every single time and glad to do it. We don't have a tally of those, and I think that might be a misrepresentation of the numbers. You know how many memberships, but you don't hear anything about how many people we're paying each time, and therefore endorsing the facility each time they come there, putting down the cash to say so, not just one time a year. My last point is that the rates for Aqua Club were extremely high. I took a look at them on their websites with the other school districts. $78 a month for a 30-minute class, so that approximately makes it $40 an hour for a group lesson. And then it's significantly more for a private lesson. You must keep in mind these children that you are asking to have this facility come in and assist for, and recognize that we have, if my numbers are correct, I think they're at least in the ballpark, 37% of the district being free and reduced lunch. Our families can't afford what Aqua Club is going to charge, and that was just for starter lessons, not the competitive lessons that are there. The taxpayers can't tolerate this either. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Dana DePalma?
Hello, I'm Dana DePalma, and I'm here regarding the pool. I have looked at the contract, and I haven't seen, I don't know if the proposal that the other groups were going to be coming up with were available or not, so I haven't been able to compare the two. But first off and foremost, I'd like to ask that you guys do what is the best fiscally responsible-wise, dollar-wise for the district, like always. And I was wondering, because when I read the contract, there's definitely some things in the contract that I see that is not good. So I didn't know if you could see what their contracts are with the districts that have kept them on, and see what the differences is of, you know, the stuff that, the maintenance and all that stuff. I mean, is it exactly the same, or are we getting screwed here just to... The other thing is that my kids used to take swim lessons, I think. Swim lessons are very important. I used to be a swimmer when I was in high school. We had to stop taking them, though, because they were only offered one night a week, Monday nights. I have meetings Monday nights. My kids have other activities. I can't come just one night a week. It needs, and I know others can make it on Mondays, but we couldn't, and nothing was left for us to take. So we've looked to go out of Brandon and take them elsewhere for classes, and I know other families have too. I can name lots of families who have gone to lots of different places to take classes. So we are losing by not having enough classes here. So what I'm asking is that you maybe relook at the contract, or you also, whatever you do so you can offer activities for all the residents, all ages, so the kids can start to learn to swim. It's very important for them to learn to swim with the lakes around here and all the houses that have ponds and everything else. It's not just a sport, it's also a life-saving skill that you need to know how to do. So I'm just asking for you to make sure that you look at a proposal, a contract that helps all ages, and for you to really look at that contract, though, because it does seem like it's going to cost a lot of money, but at the same time, I hate to see for the pool to go away. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Andrea Austin?
Hi, my name is Andrea Austin. I'm a parent in the district, taxpayer for 15 years. I will be first to say that I am not the most educated on this topic altogether. It's enlightening to hear the opinions, though, that of all the people that have been coming up. And most important for me, from what I'm hearing word on the street and everything, is that there's enough opportunity for all of the ages to use the pool. It's a striking facility, and I think we would all agree that that needs to happen. From what I saw in the minutes, it was either, we were going to either approve this proposal or maybe go back and look at something else. I'm hearing some things come up that make me think maybe we should sharpen our pencils or look just a little bit closer and make absolutely sure. I don't understand if there's a time constraint. Once again, I'm sorry, I'm not as educated as I should be on this. But I do want to make sure that if we are going to enter into a contract, that we're certain that it's beneficial to Brandon. So I'm hearing both sides, and I'm actually personally a little torn right now, and I imagine everybody sitting up here is torn as well. But personally, I'm scared to death when there's a bunch of kids in the water, so we can get this, like Red Cross type programs, real lifeguards in that pool. That's absolutely huge for me. I do want to see more opportunities for the kids. There's kids that are not necessarily like a competitive, like a soccer type sport or a football type kid, but swimming is such an amazing opportunity because it's you're really racing against yourself. You're racing against your own time, much like a runner would. And I'd like to see that opportunity grow for some of our kids. I said this at the trail meeting, but devices are taking over our children's lives. And any healthy activity that we can bolster as a community. And I see a lot of like us and them, like older people in the community versus younger people in the community. But I feel like this is a sport that these two ages can come together if we only can find a happy spot together. I think it's great for kids. I mean, I know that, there's sometimes it's better to have separate times, but I'd like to see some kids with some mentors, learning the sport, learning the love of it, learning to love the pool forever. I see a lot of frightened voices in the audience that are just a little nervous about entering into a contract like this. I just want to make sure we're absolutely certain about what those little unknowns get absolutely addressed. Thanks.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, that was the end of everybody that signed up. Okay, the next thing on our agenda tonight is approval of our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Move that the Brandon Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of supporting our consent agenda, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, information and discussion. Jan, anything?
Yeah, I have just 3 items. Talked about the bus purchase that you'll be voting on tonight. That's our 2 special ed buses. Just wanted to add that we had an inventory of 8. We had to take 2 out of circulation. They were no longer could meet the code. So after we purchase the new, we're going to take 1 more out. We'll have 7 buses. We have 5, but we run at any time. That'll leave us with 2 subs, which is right where we need to be. So that's on the agenda tonight. The second is the DM Burke contract. As we discussed, or as we talked about during our building reconfiguration, there are 3 custodians at Fletcher. We're keeping 1 in the district to help with Harvey and the H.T. Burt wing. So we're reducing the contract by 2 full-time custodians, and the addendum reflects that, the new contract price of $551,392. So that's on, is an action item tonight as well. And then the last thing I want, any questions on that? No. Okay. I wanted you guys to all get a copy of this. We were able to get our new community education program. This is our start. We have 5 summer camps / 1 correspondence that we're offering: a culinary camp, chess camp, a life skills camp, Young Rembrandt's art, and then our grass program. This is going out between Friday, today, and tomorrow. All the kids K-8 will be getting the packet. Registration is underway, so we're excited to bring some community education programs back. We'll be working on fall, starting here real quick.
Great, thank you. Kristen?
Just to recap what we discussed briefly in our workshop around curriculum and textbook purchases. I know that that line item's a little bit more this year. It's because with the Words Their Way program, we're able to purchase it over the course, get a 3-year contract out and save money by buying 3 years worth of licenses this year. But the money that we have set aside for curriculum purchases includes handwriting without tears. We do teach handwriting, as I said before, including cursive, Bridges, mathematics program, the Words Their Way that I just spoke of, and of course, we've already previously approved the purchase of textbooks for statistics and physiology. I'm excited about that, and next month we'll come to you with suggestions of 3 novels for our upcoming honors 6th grade English class. Very excited to be able to offer another honors English class to our student body, so we can remove those ceilings. Those are my highlights. Any questions?
The textbooks, other than the ones that I've already read, I'd like to see those.
The statistics book?
No, I already read that one.
Oh, okay, yes, I thought so.
And I read the other one too.
Yeah, so the Bridges program are the math manipulatives that we replace each year. The Handwriting Without Tears is a workbook that children practice their handwriting in. And the Words Their Way is the spelling program that we approved earlier this year also.
Right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to our action items. Approval of bus purchase contract. Do we have a motion?
Move that the Brandon Board of Education approve the bus purchase contract for 2 buses from Capital City, Lansing, Michigan, not to exceed the amount of $109,158. The buses will be financed from the general fund over a period of 7 years at an annual payment of $15,594 each, or $31,188 for 2 buses as presented.
Okay, any further discussion? I know Jan's talked about this already this evening.
I have one question. How many special ed children do we have in our district that will ride this process?
Yeah, it's approximately 13% of our total student population is on special education.
312, 325 special ed students. Only those students who need special ed busing is something that's defined by their IEP team. Much smaller number. I can get that to you though.
Thanks.
Further discussion? All those in favor of approving Board of Education purchasing 2 buses in Capital City in Lansing, Michigan, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, next item is approval of future problem solvers out-of-state trip to Wisconsin.
Move that the Brandon Board of Education approve the future problem solvers out-of-state field trip to the University of Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin, through 11th, 2017 for the future problem solvers educational competition as presented.
Support.
Okay, any discussion about the item?
Great, sounds like a great trip, and real proud to know that our students are advancing in this area. That was great to see.
Okay, hearing no further discussion. All those in favor of approving the future problem solvers out-of-state trip to Wisconsin, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? Okay, have a good trip, future problem solvers. Approval of custodial contract extension.
Move that the Brandon Board of Education approve the Dean Burr custodial contract extension for the term July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2019 as presented.
Second. Okay, any further discussion on this? Jan just did a pretty good explanation of what we're doing and why. Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the custodial contract extension with Dean Burr, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now for the moment everybody's been waiting for, the Aqua Club contract.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the Aqua Club contract as presented.
Second?
Okay. So, in opening up our discussion, a couple things I want to say. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that we have not been transparent with our numbers, and that's a real problem for me. Our numbers are all public information. They're audited every year. They're all available. They've all been provided multiple times. However, it may or may not be in a format or fashion that everybody wants to see things broken out. But the numbers are the numbers, and they have been shared with everybody as we have them. We cannot give you something in a form that we don't have. And I know that's been asked, and it's just not available. So we've given everything that's been asked about the numbers. The second thing, the reason why we look to go with the Aqua Club, we talked about in our workshop session. And really it was to create opportunities within our community for the Aquatic Center. We stated in our work session, we recognize that we have not taken a hands-on management of the pool facility in quite some time. We openly stated that. We openly stated also that we essentially maintain the status quo as long as possible. It's been answered and accepted. That is what's happened. So the idea with Aqua Club was to give more use to our pool, more opportunities for our community. The things that I've heard many people talk about classes, about teams, all these different things. And we looked to outsource that because we did not have, I'll call it the expertise, the manpower, the funding, any of those things. And I've heard a lot of people here come out and talk, very negatively about that. So here's my problem, and I guess I'm speaking to everybody in the room here. Everybody's asked us to hold off and to not approve the contract. And I realize maybe giving 2 weeks time to put something else together wasn't enough time. But I have yet to see anything, to me, that's a viable alternative other than for the school district to spend more money and do more work, and shame on us. And frankly, that's not going to happen. We are not going to invest a ton of money into the pool to hire a marketing person, a program person, and all these other things. It's not on our agenda of educating students, and that's where we spend our money. So it is what it is. So, as some people may have said, is Aqua Club an easy way out for us? Maybe it is. We did talk to different school districts. We understand everybody's got a unique situation, and we believe that what they put together was, I'll believe, let's put it that way. Everyone else can have their 2 cents in a minute. I believe that what they put together was a practical solution to our problem. Is it perfect? No. I've read that contract, every single word of it, and I have issues with a few things. It's not perfect. However, it gets us moving in a direction now compared to doing nothing now, which is pretty much where the alternative I see is going. So with all that being said, I guess that's my 2 cents about the matter, and any other board members, feel free to chime in.
I do it. First I want to start with numbers, unless I did the math wrong. The new contracts, or the rest contracts, at $65 per kid at swim. If we get 175 kids in swim classes, that's only $11,375. It's not $113,000
per month.
So I just wanted to point that
That's per month.
out.
Per month. $65 per month times 100 kids.
I'm just saying that.
No,
one
you're not
class,
saying that.
okay.
You're trying, excuse me.
I need to speak in this matter, that I do.
It's not a public forum, sir.
We have a bigger picture to look at. It's curriculum, it's staffing, it's education of our kids, and of course our facilities. As a board member, for the past 4.5 years, I feel I do bear responsibility for the downward spiral of our pool and our programs there. Now I'm looking for the best bang for the buck that will rejuvenate our pool atmosphere and enjoyment. We have read your letters, we have listened to what you have said, and I plan to approve our pool management that is based upon our community needs and requests that target all our community, not just a select group. If I could quote Ms. Serwin's letter that was in the Citizen, change is coming, let's come together and make it work well for the ones who want it, needed and used the gym. That being said, this pool is a community pool, but it is not a free-for-all. Our pool will always have restrictions and times that will possibly disrupt individual schedules. Whether it's Aqua Club, another manager, or business, they have to make these changes. Sorry, that is reality. At the last meeting, I observed a couple things. The questioning of the 2-year contract. Well, I want whoever we bring in to have that chance to get our pool programs rocking and rolling. To me, this contract is not forever, but enough that in 2 years we can see where we're at, and hopefully we're going to have tons of activities going on in our pool. Then I saw that at the last meeting, someone held out a Clarkston Community Ed booklet saying this is what Brandon needs to do. Well, I looked at Clarkston Community Ed online, and there's Aqua Club, and there it is for Oxford. So those people who want our community ed to be more like Clarkston and Oxford should support Aqua Club coming to Brandon. Then there's some of you that don't want our programs to be like Clarkston or Oxford. Well, Aqua Club's contract is not the same as either. It is tailored towards our community and what you've been asking and our needs. Then there was the comment that one of you made to me and Jan after our last meeting. I mentioned to this person that we were very close to closing our pool down because of lack of staff. That person looked right at me and says, I don't care if the pool closes, I can go to Deer Lake and take my family there. I don't know if this is the direction you all want, and I now realize that some of you are not about the pool and if it stays open or not. I question agendas. I believe we must get more involvement in our pool in the form of lessons, camps, training, classes that target all ages. I believe we need to keep our pool a positive and life-saving place for all. I ask each of you, are you able to move forward no matter which way the vote is, or are you just about throwing dirty water and negativity for your own agenda? I have always believed in the positiveness of this community. I ask that our community embrace who we bring in and not drown the chances to improve. Let's make the new pool attraction a splash hit and give this a chance.
Anyone else like to discuss this? Any comments? Anything?
I was just going to point out one area, and perhaps Jan and Nate can jump in on this. There were some numbers that were discussed.
Yeah.
The part of that that's not discussed are the cost to run those programs. It's not pure profit. So if I did $65 a class with 100 students, $6,500, that's not profit. You have a margin where you have costs for coaches, instructors, and all marketing, all that kind of stuff. So it is a balance. Jan, do you have any comment on that?
Exactly that. And I also, if we're going to talk about price, the contract does cap the swim lessons at $65, and it was pointed out currently our curriculum is not a Red Cross-based curriculum. Yes, we're going to go up $17 more. Our curriculum is going to be Red Cross-based. One person spoke and said they stopped bringing their kids here because the quality of the classes wasn't there. We're for $65, $17 more a month, we're going to get quality, and that was, that matters. So I wanted to point that out.
Anyone else?
Where to begin? I believe that including an expert at this point in time is the appropriate choice. Whoever you want to define as that expert. We don't have options in front of us, at least presented to us, that are viable. the concern that I have and why I'm struggling, I'm literally faltering in what I'm saying, is because I have concerns about the contract that I share with others. I'm just being transparent. Some of my board members may be frustrated with me. That's not to say I don't support Aqueduct, or Aqua Club, excuse me. It's that I am concerned with certain aspects, very specific aspects of the contract that maybe shame on me, that I needed to resolve those issues before coming here tonight, which I tried.
Do you want to talk about Eagle specific things for you?
All right, after hearing everybody, I guess again, I'll offer Nim if you would like the opportunity to speak. You've heard everyone else speak this evening before we take a vote on this.
Again, as the last meeting, I don't want to be looked at as the enemy. We're very excited to bring passion and programming to the community, both to kids and to the adults. People said a lot, and we take it into consideration. If we move forward with the contract, we will listen to the groups and what they need and what we're looking for. So, and we've been doing it all over our facilities. So we have experience from kids to lifeguarding, and we're very excited to start programming as soon as tomorrow.
Any other discussion? Okay, I guess my one last comment really is this. My only concern I had really with the contract personally was it was for 2 years and what the termination clause was. However, in discussing that with fellow board members and everything else, one of the things that came out of that was, since our program is non-existent, there has to be an opportunity for Aqua Club to succeed, and that's going to take some time. So just for transparency purposes, that's what my issue was. Anyway. Any further discussion, anyone? Okay. All those in favor of approving the Aqua Club contract, please vote by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any opposed? Aye. Okay. 5-2. Contract passes. Okay, administrative staff reduction.
Move that the Brandon Board of Education accept the layoff of Brandon High School Assistant Principal Julie Lyon for the 2017-18 school year.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like some clarification. Sorry, I'm lost on that. Me too.
Okay, I'm happy to talk on this one. We have an administrator that needs to be reduced as part of our reorganization plan. And according to the contract with the administrators, the BAA, it goes to the lowest person. Our last hire was David Wyatt. He is the person that is slated. It's not by position, it's by seniority. He's the lowest seniority individual, so he would be the individual that is up for layoff. What questions do you have on that? This is by contract.
Well, I want to know who's going to replace the assistant principal at the high school.
This is one where we've not decided on the place where people land. There's some other pieces that are in movement, but at this month, we have to lay somebody off according to our reorganization plan. And the contract says this is what we must do. A month from now, we would likely have a lot more clarity about who is going to what building and any moves that have to take place. But at this point, we have to lay somebody off because that's what That's what we promised the part of the organization. He's the low man, so he's the one that receives that notice. I know that's tough to.
Any other questions or discussions on the matter?
Oh, absolutely. If anything changes, and as I said, there's a number of things that are moving at this time. If something were to change, it would be immediately recalled. We have to do this. This is our meeting. This is the timeline. This is the timeline that requires, just like with teachers. The next one is we're gonna talk about preschool. Well, preschool, okay.
Okay, so basically, by contract, he's the one who's named, and then next, this is the time to match the time of the contract. Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the layoff of Brandon High School Assistant Principal David Wyatt for 17th school year, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, our last item this evening is preschool teacher staff reduction.
Move that the Brandon Board of Education accept the layoff of the Brandon preschool Caitlin Bogart as presented for the school year of 2017-18 as presented.
This is very similar to the administrative. We, preschool classes is based on enrollment, and students are still enrolling, so this is, we have to be careful. We don't have enough students yet to have every class filled. As soon as those students arrive, then we would call her back off of the layoff. So they just aren't enrolled yet.
We're working hard.
So we have to be careful and protect our budget.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the preschool teacher staff reduction, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Any last citizens input before we go into a closed session for the purpose of negotiations? Hearing and seeing none, could we get a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing negotiations?
Board of Education approve the interclosed session for the purpose of discussing negotiations.
Okay, all those in favor of going into closed session, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Go to the everybody. All right, take a 5-minute recess and then we'll